thought they had banished us forever. But now, finally, we have returned.
Indeed, we have. Welcome back to our movie review streams. I'm very happy to be here. This is going to be a good one. It's pretty much the best movie of 2021, and we're here to talk about why. First off, let me bring in Sitter. I didn't have anything more appropriate, but I just thought, let's do it this one.
Okay. Let me make one thing perfectly clear. This is not jumping the shark. I'm going to repeat that again. This is not jumping the shark. Oh, no. This is jumping the shark, coming back, shooting it in the balls, raping it, eating its flesh, consuming its soul, mounting its head on the wall, and then doing the same thing to 12 more fucking...
Is that the herald of my return, is jumping the shark, fucking it in the balls? Oh, God. Hello, everyone. I have returned from... I was like on that long. I don't know. Hello.
No, I did not read the book. I think that we have it on Audible, but I just didn't. I was doing Brandon Sanderson and Joe Abercrombie binge, so just didn't really do it.
I tried to do Audible, but the made-up words were just too confusing to just hear them on voice, so I had to stop and go read it, and then, of course, I didn't go grab the book. I tried, though.
Yep. And we have Mr. Skids. Please welcome him.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
And one last one. I have to use this clip because I have to. I'm obligated to do it. So please welcome Count Balerion.
Being creative? Now, if you'll excuse me, I still have some work to do. Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like some sausage? Sausages!
You ran away.
He ran away.
Space Junk, I'd like to answer Space Junk's comment here. No, I never read the book. I went to this movie completely blind, and I loved it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it killed.
You killed Balerion. That was you and me when we were watching Legend of the Seeker, and you just chased the poor man away. Okay, he's afraid of the meaty sausage.
No, I think he's just, yeah. Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausage?
Balerion, come back.
Come back.
We're hiring Buffy or Blade to come after him.
More sinners. Yes. Yes, I'm sorry. I just didn't read the book.
Well, we're talking about sinners, so we should hire the pursuer then.
It's really hard. I have read 3 chapters of the book, so I have done more than anyone else here.
Yes.
What does that have to do with anything? I'm not talking. I'm talking Space Junk's comment, most recent comment.
Where there's a whip, there's a way. Are you trying to summon Wisp or something?
Hey.
He's referring to the anime Return to the King movie.
Ah, I see.
Where there's a whip, there's a way.
That's probably the best part of the movie.
There's a whip. Oh, I remember that song. Oh, I fucking love that one. And the Hobbit
Don't.
one.
Yeah. Hello. Balerion said, "Don't use that thing as high inch."
You have sullied this pure man done? How dare you corrupt this angelic creature?
It's not corrupting, it's torturing. Torturing! Torture! 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 Die, Rat Lord, die! 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 Die!
Hi, kitty.
Sounds like a gas baby. Bring it on.
Okay, we'll leave. Okay, but we'll leave if you use that as my intro.
What was that clip from? You just unlocked a deep memory.
That is from Osmosis Jones.
I thought so!
Yeah.
It looks so familiar.
Use the Game of Thrones things. Use those dragons things. Use those.
Sorry, I
You should use the
That
bears
was so worth
next
it.
time.
I love the reaction to that to that clip. It's so funny.
You're such a brat.
Yeah. Osmo? Yeah, it's quite the throwback.
Hello. Oh god, I
Hey.
don't even remember how old.
Yeah. It's 2003, I think.
Oh gosh.
When I looked it up, it says 1.
Oh,
One?
Oh, 2001.
No, 1 AD.
2001.
180. Osmosis Joan killed Christ, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was the Freddy thing that killed. Well, no comment.
Daddy, would you like some sausage?
No,
Daddy, would you like
die, little scum die. I'm not laughing at. Yeah, I'm laughing at my insult.
We gotta get someone counting how many times Balerion says no comment.
No comment.
Oh yeah, we did. Oh yeah, we did that. I think we got up to 20 or something.
Oh yeah.
Maybe even past 20. Maybe
I think
even a couple of
15
dozen.
were because of me. Actually, I think 20 of them were because of me.
Probably.
Osmosis Jones has a scene where Forrest Gump sneezes 20 liters of nose liquid into a woman. What?
Was
It might
because
actually.
Was it because Tom Hanks is in the movie?
No, Tom Hanks is not in the movie.
Oh.
We have Bill Murray though.
Hmm.
So are we gonna get started?
Yep.
Yes, we probably
One
should.
more guest is in the back room though.
My old enemy. You cannot hide from me.
Oh.
Heyo.
Greetings.
Hey.
Greetings, everybody.
Hello there.
Yep. So, some context. The movie Dune is basically about the story of how this family called House Atreides is clearly being set up for slaughter, Red Wedding style, and is put on Arrakis, which has basically this incredibly valuable substance called the spice.
Mhm.
But the problem is House Harkonnen or House Harkonnen, depending on how you pronounce it,
I think
has
Harkonnen,
done a lot of
whatever.
sabotage. Has done a lot of sabotage on their gear to make it so that they have a lot of problems, as well as setting up assassination attempts.
They're evil, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes, and they're played by Boots. The bad guy's played by Bootstrap Bill Turner.
I
from the
noticed that
Pirate
too.
movies.
Yeah. Bootstrap and Drax.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are the evil men.
Yep. Those are the bad men, the evil men.
Then
But we
you-
have-
They make the Baron look incredibly intimidating.
Oh,
Just
not to
by
mention, this
visual
will be.
design.
This is also Anakin Skywalker's least favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
Yes, it takes place on a sand planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Kylo Ren can't stand it either because it's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where were we? Yeah, the dragon. I mean, not the dragon. The Baron. I don't remember. His style's not quite so. Some of the characters are not quite so individualized as much as in the book, perhaps. The dragon has this. I'm not the. Why do I keep saying dragon for Baron? Maybe I'm thinking of book club tonight and we're doing trivia, Song of Ice and Fire trivia too. So maybe that's why
Just
dragon.
call him the Baron.
The Baron, that guy. He has this oily style in the books.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
I don't recall him having that in the film. Did he? I have to rewatch the film. When it gets when it's on Rumble, I'll have to rewatch it.
It's currently uploading right now. I'll have definitely.
By the way,
plenty of commentaries to give. Go for it. Sorry.
By the way, I still think that the tongue slip by Skids should
Shut
be
up!
clipped
You
and
shut up! You
uploaded
shut
to
up!
YouTube.
Shut up! Shut up!
Well,
Remind me of that again.
No.
At the end, after we were done with the movie.
yeah.
Yeah, because I've forgotten all about it. I kind of forgot.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you just called Benedict Cumberbatch by accident.
Oh, that one. Oh, yeah. Now I remember that. Thank you.
Hey, all of you.
Yeah, it's that kind of a group.
Yeah. So Skid essentially said, where is
No.
this one?
No.
I hate you!
Oh, yeah. That one's fine.
Is the Freddy Got Fingered clip the worst thing I've ever created?
Yes.
Yes, I would say yes.
Yes. I mean, that's in so bad it's bad territory.
Well, we need to watch
No.
the movie. Well, we need to watch the movie now.
No.
To get some context. Maybe it'll improve the scene.
Sorry,
No.
I'm back.
Oh, come on. It'll be fun.
It'll be fun for you, not for anyone else. Even you'll get sick of it after a while.
Well,
It would be extremely painful for you.
Yes.
Done to Balerion every single time.
yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Wow. I don't think.
Holy
What?
shit!
Oh my!
Freddy got fingered? What the fuck kind of movie is that?
Is it like one of the worst movies of all time? Because I think I might have heard about that.
It's legend. Like it's the one with Daddy. Would you like
No!
some sausage?
Stop,
Daddy, would you like some
stop. Oh, and
as well as stuff like a newborn baby being pulled from its mother's womb, and then
No.
having it swung around the head by a clearly mentally deficient person.
And you're supposed to watch this high.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
Nothing makes it good.
Who is that?
That's CJ in the background. That's my boyfriend. He has stunning commentary. I love it.
Yeah.
I don't mean that sarcastically. I actually do. I realize that sounded sarcastic.
Yeah. We were talking about it, but it's just like referencing it. Anyway, so where were we again?
No, we were just talking
The
about
Baron.
Baron
The Baron.
Harkonnen.
Yeah, the Baron Harkonnen is an amazing piece of casting by Stellan Skarsgård, who's a very, very good very, very good actor, especially when he plays soft-spoken villains. Though he plays a pretty decent bad guy as a Saxon warlord in the 2004 King Arthur movie. But yeah, I don't think he really gets the chance to like talk with a lot of other like nobles, but when he does, it's very smooth. He's like, like when he's talking to the Bene Gesserit, and he's like, "We'll just go into the sandworms. Arrakis will kill him no matter what we do."
Hmm.
And also, like, even like just the floating, like the fact that he's floating, almost like kind of like one of the heavenly ones from Stormlight Archive.
Oh yeah, the way
Where-
he levitates is so unnerving, and I absolutely love it because I had actually seen the 70s movie,
The 80s.
or the 80s movie, and it looks like he's full of helium that he bounces around like a little balloon, and that's not intimidating, which is kind of the point. But the way he just kind of stands up and then the motion keeps going and he just rises up in the air while he's just curled over.
Yeah, and also kind of like how despite being like a big fat guy, isn't like his only character trait. Like we see like how he like eats all that food, but still has other traits.
You really should not have asked Cedar. Oh God, what the fuck, Becca? You gonna fight? You want to fight me, Becca?
No, I think it's like you shouldn't. Well, it's like I think she's saying you shouldn't have asked about Freddy got fingered.
No.
Oh, you should have asked Cedar. Oh God. Oh.
I think she just forgot a comma.
I think you forgot that commas are important.
Punctuation should matter as Writers Club people.
Yeah, I think that's very. Yeah, one thing that the 70s movie, I actually learned this just recently. Because I watched the 80s movie. So they say that like there's a special like training method that the Atreides are training some kind of special warrior class, and the Emperor is kind of nervous about it, and as well as like being really popular, and so there's but yeah, there's kind of not a whole lot of like popular, not a lot of like most of it's kind of just the Harkin. I think it's kind of blink and you miss it because I barely remember that being in the movie, the 2021 movie at least.
Which one? What?
The kind of about House Atreides being popular with among the other houses, especially since we don't see them interacting with other houses.
I think it's mentioned in one scene that they're like a threat, but we don't really see them interacting with any of the other houses.
And that like the Emperor doesn't have any sons, and only like and none of his daughters are married.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that being mentioned at one point.
Yeah, which could be a huge problem for certain houses.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So anyway, want to move on?
Yeah, and we kind of one of the things about this that's interesting is like we get an actual, well, should be standard, but we actually get an arc for a character.
What?
Like Paul Atreides like actually has an arc from kind of like, I guess, like just regular rich kid to fish out of water on Arrakis.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about him is like he's not waiting to be told stuff. He's actively searching out knowledge.
Yeah, like in those like scenes where he learns more about the planet, like the whole like sandworm dance thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of funny that we did the whole Star Wars thing at the beginning, because Paul is basically a better version of Anakin in the prequels.
We actually have another guest who wanted to come on. Hopefully we don't get too crowded. Oh, did. Keep going. Yeah, Anakin Skywalker in the prequels. Please continue.
Yeah, Paul is basically a better version of Anakin from the prequels.
Except it's the other way around, kind of.
Liar! You brought here to kill me.
You have done that yourself.
No.
Yeah, I think. So, yeah, that's actually an interesting point where it doesn't talk about the trading guild. It just says they're the Spice family.
The Spice Guild?
Yeah, they just say that there is a Spice Guild. They don't really say that there's a Spice Guild. They just say that like there's a house that's controlling
Spacing Guild. Not Spice Guild, Spacing Guild. At least in the book.
Yeah.
Yep, I've got my handy dandy book right here with the glossary.
And Paul, so part of like Paul's arc is like how he like has that moment where he kills someone. Like where.
Oh yeah, at the end. I think that's earlier in the film than in the books, because in the books they thought he'd been with the Fremen for a lot longer before that happened.
Yeah,
there's a lot of build up that is skipped over in the movie.
Yeah, like, particularly Dr. Was it Ewan?
Dr. Yue, yeah.
Yeah, that one was kind of staged more as a twist than it was as kind of a, like, according to Becca in the book, it's very much a, like,
it is not a twist. It is not a twist in the book.
Like it was set up in the book.
We see his inner monologue within like page 50, and he gives it away right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. Allow me to bring in Wasia 1 second.
So, greetings.
Hello. How's it going, everyone?
So they're going to need to develop the Fremen a lot more in the second film, or it's going to be a problem.
I mean, yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah, looking at the Fremen, I was actually kind of vaguely pleased with the way that they're portrayed and the way that they're done, because this the thing I want to say about Dune right off the bat is that it is inspired. Like, looking at the way that the architecture is done, the aesthetics of of House Atreides, comparing it to Arrakis, seeing how the people live over there, the way they dress, and of course the architecture. You can tell that the author took some, well, not just the author, but also the filmmakers took some heavy inspiration from real life.
Yeah, and it looks like, even though like probably 60%, probably like 80 to 90% of this is CGI, it looks pretty dang real.
Oh
like,
yeah,
it looks really good too.
Yeah. When we were getting at the establishing shot of the city, I looked at it like, oh my god, this place, it looks Yeah, it looks like it could be a real life city. Like you just go over to the Middle East one day, you just see the city built into the mountainside. And it's like, yeah, I buy it.
Is that the
Yeah,
city of
I made a joke,
Harkin?
a Bossing Say joke, because that's what I thought the city looked like.
Balerion, you have something to say?
Is that the city of Arakeen?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I've started rereading the book now.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to comment on was the place looks blistering hot. Like I don't know what filters they put on there. I have a sibling who used to study filmography, who stated that it looked like they put a yellow filter over it, over a blue filter, which ended up washing out the color, making the thing look more white. I don't know how that works, but whatever. Those filters make the place look so blistering hot that I can't imagine standing out there for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of
It's also backed up by how the characters act. Not
Yeah.
just with things
Yeah.
like the still suits, you have to go inside after like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You have to close the doors in a very specific way. Or like the doors are made in a very specific way.
Oh yeah, I remember now. It's getting such and such a time. We need to shut the doors. I remember that coming up now.
Yeah, the sun's getting too high. We need to close the doors. I'm like, yeah, that's what I expect. This is a pretty excellent world building over here. I think that's like the biggest strength of the movie Dune, is that its world building is really good. It's really strong and delivered very organically.
It's very detailed.
Like even like when Paul gives off the voice, tries to order Jessica to give him, like it's just it happens and it's not overly explained to us. As in like anything that's clunky, it's just demonstrated really well.
Yeah.
Hey, a movie that can do exposition well. That's been a while.
What's exposition?
Yeah.
A lost art, apparently.
Yeah. A certain trilogy of movies could use some. I wonder.
Oh, I was thinking of a 5-movie series that didn't do it well.
Ouch.
No, I'm thinking of an
know what
8. I'm thinking of an 8-movie series that didn't do it well.
Yeah, I was thinking the Transformers movies just cannot do exposition to save their lives.
Oh, that's right. I forgot the Resident Evil movies were 6 movies long.
Well, they do have robots that can't read, so I guess that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Apparently, these robots can't read. And apparently, well, they kind of look like racial stereotypes. I don't know, Michael Bay.
Yeah, they really do.
There.
Yeah, they look.
They even talk like it too.
Yeah.
Are we actually
They're voiced
comparing?
by Tom Kenny.
I am back. Sorry.
Are we actually comparing?
back.
Are we actually? Thank you. Welcome back. Are we actually comparing Transformer films to the Dune film?
Well,
Are you really? Are you even?
well,
Are you
it's
fucking entertaining this?
well,
How
we're saying
dare
that Dune handles exposition much better than the sequel trilogy or the Transformer movies.
Okay.
Or the
Comparing
DCEU
anything to the sequel
for that
trilogy
matter.
is like trash. You need to not even invoke it anymore. It's
Yeah.
like
And-
the devil.
Doing the thing again.
Oh yeah, or Loki.
They're doing the thing again.
Okay, I recognize that Loki was trash, but it was my trash, and I liked it a lot.
Fair
Well,
enough.
I mean, it kind of destroys
Boy.
the entire world building of the MCU. So
I wasn't that invested in the first place.
Rip.
So that's the other way. Rip, I know, right?
Brightness says they're effing talking about crap things because they can't cope with just talking about good movies.
hey,
Yes,
good
I kind
job.
of want to keep on going about how great Dune is, specific in the score, by the way. Like
Oh yeah.
every single faction has its own motif, and I liked that. Benny
Hans Zimmer
Gesserit
pulling
had
out all the stops.
yeah. They have like this
They have
almost frantic
bagpipes.
chanting, and the Imperial Army has the deep throat singing, and it's all sick and awesome. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's also those bagpipes, which I found kind of funny, considering that it takes place like 8,000 years in the future, and they still have bagpipes.
Of course, it's cultural.
Yeah.
Don't you see? You know how to trigger Brit.
Hey, they're doing bullfighting a few thousand years into the future.
Yeah, you don't think they'll keep doing that shit? They were doing dumb bullshit 2,000 years in the past. Of course, we're gonna be doing it 20,000 years in the future.
Yeah, humans. You cannot take the stupidity out of humans.
No, you really can't.
Which reminds me of something mildly troubling, at least about the book. There's some kind of hint of eugenics near the beginning in the Bene Gesserit.
Oh yeah, that's a whole theme.
Oh yeah,
that's a major theme of the
do
series.
that in the movie too.
Yeah,
yeah.
I rewatched the first book. Read the first book. Sorry.
Yeah, any boys that they have, he's got to go. You can't have a boy if you're a member of the Bene Gesserits, apparently.
Do they kill them like the confessors do?
Probably.
I have no idea.
Oh my god, they probably do. You know.
Yeah, so something that's a little funny in the book is that they just talk about it casually. Oh, you were not supposed to have a boy. And when you're first reading it, you're thinking, wait, you can't decide that. And then they reveal later that yes, you can.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought they said. Well, I think they said in the movie you're not allowed to train the boy to do it.
As well.
Well, when she was leaving, she was like, "Yeah, you're told to only have daughters."
So the question is, do they just like abort them if they're male, or do they take some kind of weird drug that makes it so that they can only have females?
I have absolutely no idea, but it seems like they are naturally still able to have male children, but they have to actively prevent themselves from having male children and only have female.
Yeah,
so,
what it probably is that, you know, hormones swelling around in the uterus or you know, is what causes the gender. You know, zygotes start out as monogendered, mostly female, and so they probably do literally have pills that changes the hormones that go into the pregnancy that changes the gender. Thanks, space junk.
I don't really know too much about this because it's confusing because it seems to have two contradictory elements that are determining the sex of the baby that is born, with the hormones deciding, but also the DNA also decides. It's kind of confusing to me.
Huh. It probably is fudged. I bet. Did they know a lot about how pregnancy worked back then? And when was this book written?
1965.
Yeah, 1965.
65. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Albeit it was written before that, so.
Becca says, from what I remember from the book, it's to do with the Bene Gesserit having so much control over their minds and bodies that they can pick the gender of the child. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
They have
from my research, that's the impression I get is that there is something about consciousness being linked to genes or cells, and you can manipulate it.
Either way, they're a bunch of creepy witches, and I like them because they're pretty cool.
I saw people making jokes, and they're like, "What are the Bene Gesserits? I don't understand. It's too complicated." And I'm like, "Look, they're confusing, but even I understand that that's because they're supposed to be mysterious. Like all these smooth brains."
Yeah, I mean, they make it very obvious. They make it very obvious they're a shadowy organization manipulating and pulling strings in the background. But also, literally every single faction in this story is also manipulating and pulling strings in the background.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what's fun.
Except for the Fremen.
Yeah. The
Fremen just living their best lives, okay?
They're just vibing on this desert planet that's
they vibing
trying to kill you.
Oh my god.
Anyone else want to jump in?
I'm thinking about art direction. Beautiful. I heard that actually the majority of like the palaces were completely practical sets. I believe Theodore or Timothy, whatever the main character said.
Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet said he was on 2 green screen sets for the whole thing. Everything else was massive. Even the those dragonfly ships were practical.
Thopters.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sopters. And even so there's the shot where I think it's Oscar Isaac, and he is flying it, and they're flying it while they're watching the little truck being consumed by the worm. That was actually a practical shot of him in the combat, and they were fucking swinging the ship around on a giant crane. The thing weighed 5 tons, and so they were really scared. It was the only way to have proper lighting.
Damn.
Yeah.
And the worm was real too.
The worm was real too.
That is dedication to craft. Yeah, John, that is definitely the way this film was standing apart.
Oh yeah. I mean, this dude was French. He wasn't gonna CGI the fuck out of it. Was French. He is French.
Yeah, there are times when CGI is better, and Game of Thrones gives us a whole globe of examples of that.
I mean, it's also there's also the kind of fact that this movie isn't like the average Hollywood movie. Like,
no, oh my god, it's such a break from form. It's so refreshing. It's so refreshing to watch something that's bleak.
And also, well, not even just bleak, there's tension.
Yeah, tension.
Yes. Exactly.
And mystery.
But
emotional connection and stakes.
You see, I watched the Critical Drinkers review of this film, which fortunately didn't have any spoilers, but he actually did a very good job summarizing the film as smart, purposeful, but a bit slow and meticulous. You know, it's taking its time to build things up, and I agree with that assessment. It is definitely a film that is trying to get the audience to engage with it by presenting ideas and factions and intrigue, and it's really good.
Yeah.
I wonder because my feeling, I didn't feel like it was slow. I felt like it's long. It's like 2.5 hours, but it felt like it was going by pretty quick to me.
Really, what I think
it went by wicked fast.
It really did. Even I was like, oh no, please don't end. Please. I thought it was going to end like 3 times, and I was happy it didn't. But I think it's like the style of editing and the fact that this movie allows for atmosphere to be absorbed. Where people are not talking, there's not a lot going on. You can just watch things, watch Timothy, because in like modern movies, they're so afraid of losing your attention span. It's like a common thing. Like you can't go 5 seconds without a cut. And then they want to cut anything that wastes time. They cut out, like walking, they'll cut them crossing the room just so that they're over there faster. And then, we gotta get to the next action, gotta get to that. This one
and you gotta have an action scene every 5 minutes.
I mean, that's what remember. That's what me and you said. Like something like the sequel trilogy. Like, okay, we gotta have another action. More action.
That's odd because the sequel trilogy did seem slow.
Yeah.
I think you're describing the Marvel films.
Nothing was rushed, but there was no dead air for even a second. Like every quiet moment is there for reasons with things to notice. That's really how it is, You're kind of thinking with Paul.
The characters.
Yeah.
And the characters in general.
Can I also state right now that I just love how Paul is basically just Lawrence of Arabia? Like, his story is basically just Lawrence of Arabia, but in space.
Probably. It's funny to see the lines of who ripped off who, because in one of the behind the scenes, someone was explaining like Easter eggs. He actually put that a lot of George Lucas's ideas for the first Star Wars movie were from Dune. Like, in the desert, even the Jedi mind trick power is just his interpretation of the voice.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when we were watching it.
Yep. It came first.
Yeah, it's like a more violent version of it, kind of.
It's more intentional. It's, he did quick and poppy. Kind of George Lucas-y thing where he just didn't understand the layers underneath. And while the director here did, because he even explained that the sound choice that they chose was he layered voices underneath the voice when they're using Space Lawrence of Arabia. Oh God. They layered several voices as if he was calling in the voices of his genetic ancestry to command others. And so if you check, yeah, that's why that's that layered sound. And like, there's even one specifically that's used for the power of whatever he's called, the the name for the Messiah.
Kwisatz Haderach.
The Kwisatz Haderach, yeah. It's actually a hissing old woman's voice, is the voice of the Kwisatz Haderach. And that layers on every time he uses the voice. It even narrates over in the final fight scene where he's seeing the vision of him getting killed by the guy he's dueling. It's the Kwisatz Haderach hissing at him that he needs to die to let the Kwisatz Haderach arise, and that your innocence is going to die.
So that's why it's so raspy.
Yeah, that's why it's so raspy.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like a hiss. It's so neat.
Also, Becca, please, no. Also, yes, because Seven Pillars is an awesome ass song.
No, I really think the Dune is a metaphor for Trump's presidency. I think that's really what the author was trying to do.
Obviously,
even back in 1965, like he predicted Trump would become president.
Exactly. Cole is Donald Trump, just like Qui-Gon Jinn is Donald Trump, and the Dragon Blasters are Donald Trump too. Everything's about Donald Trump.
Yes.
The Harkins, they're also Donald Trump, as well as the Bene Gesserits, just Donald Trump in female form.
Did you know that this is actually a Remarkable Republicans channel?
Oh, that obscure hentai that you just read, also about Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
That there was Orientalism in the movie.
There's maybe a little bit.
Orientalism is actually a study. It's a field of Western study that studies Middle Eastern culture and Islamic as well, but also the general Orient.
Yeah.
I know because I have to read about these guys in my Islamic studies class, and how wrong they were. How so hilariously wrong they all were.
Well, Islam was based on Muhammad's fan fiction of Christianity, so that's literally what it was.
You know what? You are allowed to say that. Because I know that obviously you're not Muslim, so therefore you should be saying this. Because if you're not saying this, then why aren't you calling yourself a Muslim?
That sounded like a threat.
He has a point.
It's not.
Well, wasn't the thing about Muslim? It was either convert or die. But if you're a Christian, it was convert, die, or pay a reasonable tax.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but in practice, it didn't. They weren't mass murdering the Persians, despite the Persians being Zoroastrian. They didn't kill them. I think they decided that they were people of the book too.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Zoroastrianism? I thought
the word jihad was never uttered once in the movie. Was it in the books? I know people are using jihad, which is just supposed to mean holy war, as a shorthand when they talk about the themes of the movie.
It actually, the term holy war does come up once.
The term
in the book.
Holy war comes up, but just jihad.
Jihad is in the books. Yes, there's also a Balerion jihad, the crusade against computers.
That word literally just translates to struggle. That's literally what it means.
Yeah, people have given all sorts of,
So it's not even correct. So even some people were saying they switched the word to crusade, and then crusade's more accurate than jihad.
Yeah, because in context, that's essentially what it means. Arabic is a complicated, messy language. Anyway, back to the movie. Yeah.
So
people, stop projecting your politics onto a film that is based off of a book that came out in 1965 that has absolutely nothing to do with any of the crap that you're espousing right now.
I think jihad is mentioned in the books from the perspective of the Emperor's daughter's commentary at the beginning of each chapter.
Yeah, it's in 65, so it's before the whole blah thingy.
it's before the whole identity politics idiocy that we're seeing now.
Yes.
Well, it's before the whole stuff.
Also, by the way, another way that this movie stands out, even though it has a lot of quite famous actors, they all fit incredibly well. And they blend into the movie extremely well.
It doesn't feel like stunt casting.
Yeah.
No. Everyone.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about Jason Momoa as Doug in Idaho while we were watching the movie. And he was.
Yeah, he's pretty much he fits that character extremely well, where he's just, as well as when he talks, it's like he's not really playing a dude bro like Aquaman.
He's not basically just playing himself.
He actually feels like he's playing a character here that just so happens to line up with his general disposition.
Yeah, and he doesn't really clash with the tone of the movie or anything like that.
Except for when he shaves his beard, that was sacrilege. I want to erase that from my brain. CGI put a beard back on Jason Momoa, you bastards.
No. Do you not remember the original Justice League when they tried doing something similar to that? Did you plead?
Sorry, what? I had a work email, sorry.
I was saying, you remember the original Justice League when they tried doing something like that?
I didn't watch the original Justice League, so haha.
Well,
yeah, you saved 200 hours of your 2 hours.
200 hours.
Well, hey, 200 hours, that would have been a lot.
Hey, Jesus, how long is Snyder Cut? God.
4 hours, and that's also a waste of time. And that's also a waste of time.
Yeah, and the Snyder Cut is somehow worse.
It's you watching the same movie, but for 4 hours straight, with longer scenes that are dragged out, and the humor removed from it. It is pain.
And we get memes like, we live in a society.
From Hook to Hook and one quick shave.
Funnily enough, the society line isn't even in the movie. He gets even worse lines.
That's that. Beards are always the most important thing to discuss about this film.
Oh, she wanted to hear more religious lessons. She didn't come on this Dune review to hear about Dune.
But she changed her mind, though. She changed her mind. She wants to talk about beards in Dune now.
Well, we'll talk about Oscar Isaac's beard. That's a piece of man. Right.
I got confused because after he'd shaved the beard off, I got confused. Like, who's this chap?
Or, wait, what about this guy? Like the guy who plays Thanos? Like
Josh Brolin.
Brolin. Yeah.
Oh, Josh Brolin plays Thanos? I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Damn.
I only know him from the really awful Old Boy remake.
And Leto plays Poe, but I don't remember who that is.
Damn.
He's the pilot guy.
I know, but I don't know who the actor is.
Oscar Isaac.
Really?
Isaac?
Oscar Isaac is wasted in Star Wars. This man is a great actor. Go watch Ex Machina.
Yeah, he kind of was wasted. I mean, everyone was kind of wasted in that.
Everyone's wasted, but him especially. He's actually a great actor. Yeah. They really do. They look like babies and all of their chin time goes away. So unless you have Timothy's or Tom, whatever the fuck his name is. Timothy. Okay, I'm right. I don't know why I think I'm wrong. Unless you have his jaw, get a beard. Just grow a beard. You're hotter that way.
Timothy who?
Timothy Chalamet.
You know, funny thing, people actually say that whenever I shave my beard, I shave off like 10 years of life. Like,
yeah, you do.
I look 10 years younger, and I'm like, yes, good, thank you.
No, if they say you look 10 years younger, it's usually in a bad way.
Maybe.
You look like a teenager. A beard makes you look more refined, more serious. I'd take a bearded man serious before a shaved man. Babyface without his beard is so weird.
Yeah, I have a real baby face too, according to quite a few people.
I'm not quite sure how you would think of me.
Yeah, I don't know about mine. Like, I'm just like I just.
Hey, look, face reveal.
No, he's already
Another
revealed his
one.
face a couple times.
What do you mean you don't have long white hair?
No, I don't have long white hair. I don't know whether I have a baby face or not. I know I just have a beard.
I'd say no.
No, you
probably
actually kind of have.
You probably would without it, but
There you go. You are a dwarf digging a hole.
Yeah.
Diggy hole.
He's got
This is
a
a tinfoil.
gorget. He's got a gorget made of tinfoil.
Oh, geez. Dunn's 5,000 face reveal.
Well, the thing is, since I have my face on my books, and the idea is that you purchase them, you will see my face anyway, since I'm not Lemony Snicket, Daniel
Give me your
Handler.
face. Sure. And I'll rip out your heart.
Also, hey, Holy Ninja.
I'd show my face, but I literally don't even own a camera.
What?
Not even on my phone. I ripped that out of my phone.
You
What?
kinda,
No camera?
Hey, Cal, you kind of look like my sociology professor, actually.
Please take care of your beard so you look like a man and not look like a hobo. Yeah, that is the one thing. Or like one of those rednecks that have they only eat lean over their chest, and so all their food gets on their wiry beards, and the ends of it splaying out.
I have a neck beard though.
You have like the same. You have like the same thing that my boyfriend does, where you kind of have like that prominent brow line and then like squinty eyes. So you look very. You look like you're trying to see far away. Maybe you just need glasses.
The movie
was
really
good.
good.
The movie is
The
awesome.
movie's pretty excellent. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, we're saying yes. The movie was the most faithful adaptation I have felt. There's none of that underlying feeling where the creators want to put their own spin on it, which is fucking stupid. Because while I was watching the features, like on YouTube, the director was saying that he literally had the book on set with him, and anytime any of them had a question on how to do something, he would go reference the book like a fucking Bible. So he was so dedicated to it.
Good. That's how you do an adaptation, ladies and gents.
You know what's interesting is where they added. You know that scene with the Reverend Mother? That scene with the box.
The box test, yeah.
I like the way. One thing I like that they added is they kept cutting from Paul being tested to Jessica outside and her reactions, and that was I found that very effective.
Oh, they cut to Jessica. So my interpretation of that scene was actually that Jessica was connected to Paul, and that she was also feeling the pain that Paul was feeling. But it turns out that she was only having a panic attack, and so she was reciting the prayer while basically while Paul was doing the prayer, which was leave the fear.
Yeah.
Oh, the same guy did Blade Runner 2049. I still haven't seen that. Oh, that makes me so much more excited.
Who did?
Blade Runner 2049.
I haven't even watched the first one. And that's because I know the first Blade Runner has like 50 different cuts.
The original Blade Runner wasn't that good. Sorry.
Dennis, wait, hold on, huh? What?
Denis Villeneuve.
You said the original Blade Runner. Did you watch the extended cut?
I don't know which one. There's like 50 different cuts of Blade Runner 1. I'm not sure which one to watch.
The director's cut. Honestly, I don't think that they have any other version but the director's cut. There's the original cut, which is very confusing because they leave out a lot of key points. And it's just like this one. It's atmospheric because it's a noir, but we're not talking about Blade Runner.
Yeah, no.
Other than the fact
I
that
like this better.
This and Blade Runner 2049 was made by the same guy.
Yeah, 2049. I don't know about that one. It was, huh?
Yeah, Denis Villeneuve. He also did Prisoners, Arrival, Sicario.
Oh, he did Arrival? Oh, wow.
He did Arrival, yeah.
This dude loves sci-fi. No wonder. He was saying that he read Dune when he was like 15, which is
so that-
the same age as
Yeah.
Paul.
So that explains why he is following the books so religiously, if you will.
Yeah, which is like that's
Also
the
because
energy
the book
you
is
need.
good.
Yeah, the book is good too. This isn't
It
like
is good.
The Legend of the Seeker, where Sam Raimi was just like, you know what, fuck that.
The problem with that is Legend of the Seeker is actually good, whereas the books is based on suck.
Mm-hmm.
So is that like
Yeah.
a rare instance in which like the movie is good, in which the movie's good, but the source material sucks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's a TV show, but yes.
Or at least any adaptation, generally, like from the book from print to screen.
Yeah.
This is why the argument from adaptation is considered a fallacy, because not every time that you adapt something will it always come out to be good.
Yeah, like maybe or certain comics, like for example, like
What
there's
nuance in an argument, guys? We can't have that. We have to decide now if it's good or bad based on adaptation.
Yeah. I think that kind of like one like example of like adaptation where I think both are equally good is Bram Stoker's Dracula and the original Dracula book. I would say that would be a good example.
How about Lord of the Rings, like movies and books?
I think they're about even. They're about equal.
Lord of the Rings, I believe it captured the spirit, which I suppose is the most important part of adaptation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cutting out a lot of fat and
Yeah.
unnecessary characters.
They also added a lot of unnecessary stuff, though.
Hey, no.
Like what?
Legolas riding down the stairs and shooting orcs while shield surfing was absolutely necessary to the plot of A Two Towers.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have understood a
was-
single thing if he hadn't surfed down the fucking stairs and bullseyed two orcai in the fucking nutsack, okay?
Oh my god.
Well, there was that whole bit in Osgiliath where I discussed this already when we did our review, where Faramir's motivations make absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Like
In my whole
motivations
opinion.
for what exactly? Like
Well, okay, Frodo is taking the ring into Mordor, right?
yeah.
But then they're in Osgiliath, and Frodo is about to give the ring to the Witch King. So Faramir's deduction from this isn't, well, you know what? I was right, but we shouldn't send this Hobbit into Mordor. His reaction is, oh, we need to send the Hobbit into Mordor.
No, that's
Because
the Two Towers. You said Return of the King.
Lord,
No, I didn't. I'm pretty sure
Lord
it's
of the
Two Towers.
Lord of the Rings. It doesn't matter which film. Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. I'm not saying they're bad, but
Well,
yeah.
I think he just realized that okay, it's more important than
This ring is fucking dangerous.
Well, yeah, the ring is dangerous, so he just almost gave it to the Witch King. Let's send him to Mordor where he can give it to Sauron.
Well, Sam did tell him that like it was because of Boromir's lust for the ring that caused him his death in the first place.
And then
Anyway, we're tangenting into Lord of the Rings
move
discussion.
on.
Yeah.
I did want to eventually talk about J.R.R. Tolkien's feelings about Dune because I think they're very interesting.
Oh.
J.R.R. Tolkien freaking hated Dune.
I'm not surprised.
J.R.R. Tolkien did?
Yeah, I think he said, I intensely dislike it.
How come?
Really?
Yeah. So, go for it.
To put that into perspective, Tolkien also didn't like Narnia.
Yeah, I actually just had this pop up on Quora, the Quora, and it's kind of the nice thing is it's a guy who's got a bachelor's English and he's like got a number of articulate points. He's like, so what he said is, let me actually share that.
It's not in his letters.
Basically, like, Tolkien stated, "I dislike Dune with some intensity." Didn't really say why. However, you don't need to look only as far as leaf and tree to understand Tolkien's views on story and artistry. Tolkien was interested in stories that were good for their own sake. Even in dark moments, the story should be a delight to the reader. By Tolkien standards, Dune is quite gratuitous in its bloodthirstiness, violence, and corruption. Herbert takes a positive delight, it would seem, in describing the debauchery of the Harkonnens. On a similar level, Tolkien always wrote in a way that was suitable for children. He discusses this in Tree and Leaf. He did not see any benefit in filling his Iliad stories with sex and gore.
Mm.
Tolkien's world is ultimately a world of grace and kindness. These to Tolkien are the marks of a true hero, of whom Gandalf and Aragorn were the contrasting pinnacles. These are qualities almost entirely absent from Dune, which is more focused on power and revenge. This is somewhat more like the difference between Shakespeare and Webster. The Duchess of Malfi has a similar milieu to Dune. Tolkien's own heroes were Gawain and Beowulf rather than Machiavelli.
Mm.
Tolkien describes world building as an imaginative journey. He discusses the difference between simply writing the Green Sun and thoroughly imagining it. To him, the imagination was the main thing. Dune, by contrast, is Lawrence of Arabia in space.
Oh, hey, that's exactly my take.
Hey!
I was the only one who thought that.
Mm-hmm. Herbert reportedly was taken by the film and transports the milieu wholesale into a science fiction setting. To Tolkien, this was an unacceptable shortcut. However, he criticized C.S. Lewis for borrowing and mixing in Narnia. Herbert's method is far more heinous from a Tolkien point of view. Tolkien loves language, and there's only a superficial thing in Herbert. He doesn't like preachy. Tolkien didn't like preachy writing. Whereas Dune is full of asides about ideal societies. Tolkien also did not like modernism, nihilism, rationalist skepticism, existentialism, proto-New Ageism.
Oh yeah, he completely demonizes industrialism, so I don't think he likes sci-fi.
Yeah.
I don't think he would admire. I don't think he would much admire the whole. Some of the bits about religion in the Dune book are a little tismy, a little messed up.
Well,
so
I
basically, Tolkien didn't like Dune because it wasn't his style. Like, he didn't like how it was like more like black and white. I mean, more like grayish, where he's kind of more like black and white and like lighthearted, and Dune's more dark.
Like, that's the thing. That's actually a thing that. This is actually part of the reason why I didn't like fantasy. It was because I was thinking of the Tolkien-esque way of depicting fantasy, which is also why I ended up liking science fiction over fantasy, because fantasy was just this clean-cut, good and evil thing, whereas I was raised on video games like Killzone, where the idea is that, hey, these guys might be super evil and basically space Nazis, but you guys aren't any better. Like, the faction that you play isn't really all that much better, and that's the thing that I liked about science fiction was depth and nuance.
But if everyone's bad, then it gets a little depressing and dreary too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is why I actually think that the best idea would be to have something of a mix, or to basically enjoy. That's why I can enjoy fantasy and science fiction. It's because fantasy sometimes provides a palate cleanser to all the gritty and grim stuff that you see. Can
I touch a little bit on the point about languages? Because Tolkien meticulously creates these languages, and in Herbert, what he does is he takes random words in Arabic, and he takes words in Arabic or sometimes Persian and gives them random meanings. I don't get the impression that he actually put much effort into making it a realistic language. It could make an interesting language based on Arabic, but I don't think it does the way Tolkien did on Welsh, but I don't think he exactly does that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna say this right now. Good luck studying Arabic. I grew up trying to study the bloody language, and I still can't exactly say that I know how to read it.
It looks hard. It looks pretty, but hard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's next?
Well, I was thinking like the challenges of adaptation, but I think the main thing about it is the fact that this is a very dense book.
Yeah.
And it's a lot, like Becca was saying, it's a lot of internal monologue.
Holy shit,
Yeah.
there is a lot of internal monologue.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we were talking about. UA, like the movie couldn't like develop like his like part, like him a little more, or like why, or like his like thought process, because otherwise he didn't want to make it a twist and wouldn't have as much time.
Yeah.
You need a glossary.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean, in the book, he has a scene with Jessica, and he's painstakingly thinking about, holy shit, is like, am I talking the right way? Is there something in my voice that might give away that there's something wrong? That sort of shit happens all the time.
Oh, and that's also true to life because people do feel and think that way.
The books do also have the book. The book kind of needs a glossary, so I don't know how. I guess they integrated it the lingo well enough in the books in the film. I mean, but I kept checking the glossary at the end of this book just to see what's going on, what they're talking about.
And then I think that like the movie actually like did a really good job of like simplifying and streamlining a lot of the book based on what I understand of this book, because it's like what 800 pages of a very, very dense 1960s prose.
I think.
Well, the thing is, Dune, despite being written in the 60s, really doesn't read like an old book.
Yeah, no, that's what you were talking about when we were watching the movie.
Yeah, if you compare it to, say, Lord of the Rings, which came out 10 years earlier, Dune, it reads like it could have been written in the year 2000, and you probably couldn't tell the difference.
This book is about 533 pages.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Because I actually do have a copy of Dune in my room that I've been trying to get around to reading for so long, but I never got the chance to. Yeah, it's quite the chonker of a book.
Yeah.
I do think that this definitely, I imagine like it, I imagine it probably had to leave out quite a bit.
Yeah, I feel like Leto and UA really got the short end of the stick in terms of adaptation.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, they're very much to the side compared to like they put the focus is entirely on Paul.
Yeah,
and they kind of try to spread around as much context as they could.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, I mean, it's already pretty long to begin with. Like if this movie is like 3 hours, it probably would have a kind of hard time getting into the theaters because movies that long are kind of looked down upon.
Yeah, the only like successful 3-hour movies that have come out in the last 20 years. I was thinking Endgame, because Endgame's 3 hours.
Well,
Endgame is not a good movie though.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
It's a lot of problems. Yeah.
I mean,
and I definitely what is that? What is that weird groaning noise in the background?
I do not know.
I don't know.
Although I do know, however, is that I actually need to go ahead and get off now.
All right, bye.
Thank you very much for having me on. Have a good day, everyone. See you around. Bye.
See ya.
Yeah. I definitely think that it was a good idea to. I agree that like making Dune the first half of the book, I think was a good idea, as well as the I think that like making the I guess the climax of the first movie, the death of House Atreides was very, very smart.
Yeah.
In terms of
Skids, what are you doing with your mic?
It's not. It's just background noise. Like I live, there's a lot of people live around me, so it's like music that other people are playing.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. I can't control that.
Oh, someone just left. Sorry. Bye, Wishia.
Wishia just left.
Yeah, I think a big part of this movie, like, is like it's saying, okay, there have been other like 2-part book adaptations. Let's do that, but let's try to structure it so that it has 3 acts and the main character does have an arc across the first movie.
Yeah, considering that there are several books way shorter that have gotten 2-part movies. Yeah, this one is actually merited.
Or we
Yeah,
got a short
like-
book that made 3 movies.
Yep, the Hobbit. I was just thinking about the Hobbit trilogy.
Yeah. Yeah. That wasn't a good choice.
Okay, I'm just going to honestly just push the mute button, my mic off and on. Like,
Put
I'm
that
just
back
going
on.
to leave it
What
on
was
when I'm
that?
talking.
Put that back on again. Is the door to hell in Dunn's living room having technical difficulties? Is that what you're laughing at?
Let's go with yes.
The door down from hell. the trap door from hell. There's hell and then there's Dunville.
Yeah, where Freddy Got Fingered lives, perpetually saying,
No!
"Did you lick some sausage?"
No, die screaming.
Stop.
What's worse, him or me? Him singing it or me singing it?
Him. Because at least when
yeah,
it's you, I can
definitely
yell at
him.
you. When it's you, at least I can yell over you.
Be
It's
creative.
also
Now if you'll excuse
less
me.
it's also less hideous from a voice perspective.
Yeah, your voice is. That's true. Your voice is less revolting than his. I'm funny, but I'm not. You are if I say you are, Brightness.
No, Dunn's worse than anything.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Well,
why? Thank you.
Don't mention that.
Yeah. I guess what major. I think I can't really think of any other major challenges of adaptation other than it manages to interweave the exposition. They just don't go as you know or just have
As you
long
know, the
exposition
Fire
depth.
Lord has banished his son, the Prince. Thankfully, there's none of that.
Oh yeah, I remember Hello Future made a big deal of that. Have you seen his video on the Last Airbender movie?
No.
Well,
We need to watch that movie.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about that back when we were
yeah.
watching it. And we also need to watch the God's Not Dead movies because I want to laugh. I just want to watch them and laugh.
As you know,
God's Not Dead sounds almost like a fucking Zack Snyder movie where it's just miserable.
Yeah, it sounds. Except those movies are unintentional comedies.
as you know,
As
the
you know.
Dakin Kol Yahad Kwitsiach.
Or that joke that was hacked from the made last Jeff Field. I already know that. Shut your mouth. They repeat the thing about they're not coming twice. Remember that part?
Yeah, I remember that. It was terrible.
Yeah, they hurt us, but they're not coming.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be interested to see what they would do if they made this a big franchise. I honestly hope that it will be, since it's been pretty monetarily successful. As far as
apparently it has been a success on HBO Max as well.
Yeah, so it's okay, so the budget was 165 million. So, and then its box office has been 330 million.
Which, considering that we're still coming off COVID, is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. What was I about to say? It's just that people just want to watch some good movie now, something that isn't woke and just genuinely good.
It has Dune Part 2 has been greenlit.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I will watch that.
Oh yeah, definitely are
Yep,
going to watch
so
that.
will I. I think I'll actually rewatch this movie on HBO Max
Oh
in
yeah,
a while.
so will I.
As soon as this thing comes up on Rumble, I'll rewatch it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is uploaded. I think it is uploading right now. Let me actually check Rumble right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're not better uploading this stuff to Rumble how normally is uploading his podcast to his podcast channel.
Yeah, it's ready and it's monetized, and yeah, it's ready. Eddie, if anybody wants to watch it on Rumble, it's fully up and loaded.
Mm.
It's just gonna auto generate the
Yeah, not today, because today we have book club and other stuff later on this evening, and I have to take my walk in a bit.
All right. So how about the Q&A?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Why don't we watch the IGN review then? It's only 4.5 minutes, so we can get through that pretty quickly.
Yeah, sure. I'll be fine with that. IGN.
The funny thing is, when a movie is good, there's actually not that much to discuss. It is just great, and we all agree.
It's just easier for me to criticize something, explain why it's bad, rather than praise something and say why it's good. I think.
Yep, we got a lot more in when we were talking about the. I'm not going to say it because people get triggered as soon as you mention it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Usually, it's kind of like that adage. A dumb person can say more dumb things in 2 minutes than a smart person can correct in 2 hours.
Wow.
Whereas if there isn't a problem, then we agree and move on.
Yeah. Everything you just said was the most idiotic thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing you just said in the past 5 minutes resembled anything close to rational thought. I want you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah,
and since we're talking about good things,
unless Balerion wanted to say something.
All I was going to say was I can't really make a final judgment on how good or bad the film is until I've seen the second half, because, like I was mentioning earlier, the Fremen are not much gone into in this first film, and I'm assuming that they will in the second film. But if they don't, then my judgment will have to get more negative. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I actually would not agree with that, because I think the Fremen, like, their culture is pretty well established for them not being very pivotal to the overall plot of this first movie.
Until the very end.
I actually agree with that.
Yeah.
Because the main plot is setting up Harkonnen versus Atreides, and then having the red wedding moment at the end. Go for it. Sorry.
Pardon me. I was going to say I said that would be my judgment if they don't develop the Fremen in the second film. If they do develop the Fremen in the second film, then I'll agree, and it's fine. If they didn't develop them in the second film, then we'd have a problem. I'm not saying it's a problem that they're not developed much in this film. I'm saying if they're not developed in the second film, we'll have a problem.
I don't think we'll have that problem
Probably
necessarily.
Probably not. But if we do, if they don't develop them, then because the whole story is a large part of the story is Paul gets acclimatized and eventually becomes their messiah. So that's a big part of what's going on here.
I think one thing about it is they do actually do develop the Fremen, and I think that that's a pretty good indication of what's going to happen in the next movie.
Is there any
Go for it.
Sorry, you finish, and then I'll say something.
I think just considering the development that we get, the gift of water, kind of their warrior culture ethos, the Cryblade, and the prophecy stuff, as well as like how they were the people that made the suits. I think that like that's a pretty good indication that we'll get some good development for the Fremen in the second sequel.
We probably will. It's just if they didn't, we'd have a problem.
Well, I think that like it. I would agree. I do agree with you that like, but I think that like the fact that it seems as though like the movie itself has like done a good deal of groundwork already. So they're not started. Thankfully, they don't need to start from scratch, and they can hit the ground running with what they have from Dune Part One.
Yeah, you do have it foreshadowed, so that's good.
Yeah. Alrighty, so the IGN review.
Yeah, I was gonna say something.
Oh, go for it. Oh, Skids, you're saying?
I was to say, is there any negatives you could probably think about the movie? Like, because I have a hard time thinking anything really up.
I mean, we've already talked about the short changes in terms of adaptation, but that's really
they're very
the ripple effects of that, like UA's betrayal not being built up to really.
Okay, wait, I'll be back in a second.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh yeah, since we're also talking about good things, we have to worship at the altar of Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah, Rebecca Ferguson's great.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm ready.
She was Jessica, right?
Yeah,
she was Jessica. Yeah.
Yes. Good.
All right, let's watch this.
Yeah, I think I think a lot of it, like Rebecca Ferguson, like very much like is doing well. I think like I don't know how much older she is than Timothée Chalamet. I think she's
like 13 years old. Is
13 years
Timothée
older.
Chalamet the actor for Paul?
Yeah, she's 38. He's like 26.
Yeah, I mean, I remember just with Critical Drinkers that she's only like 12, 13 years older than he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's 25.
He kind of does have a baby face, though. It's like he kind of does look a little younger than he actually is.
He does look younger than 25.
Like, he's kind of like Tom Holland. Like, he's 25, but he definitely still looks like a teenager.
He looks like a kid, although he looks older than Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
He kind of does, yeah. He's a way better character in just one movie than Kylo could manage in 3.
Yeah.
That's also true.
No, there was a funny joke. It was smile, Gurney. I am smiling.
And there's also not to mention like that spitting joke. That was kind of funny.
And honestly, I just kind of miss serious films, really. I've had way too much bathos-ridden messes to last a lifetime, and we're probably going to get even more.
All right. Okay. Let's watch this video.
Let's see.
Dumpster fire. Might want to pause it just quickly.
Is director Denis Villeneuve the one who
mind.
finally does justice to Frank Herbert's sci-fi epic Dune? Well, not quite. For all its amazing imagery, A-list stars, and very cool interpretations of the nerdier aspects of the classic novel, this version of Dune doesn't fully coalesce.
Remove your hand from the box, and you die.
There's
no box. Pain.
To be clear, the on-screen title of this installment is actually Dune Part One, as the decision was made to divide the sprawling novel into 2 parts. This results in an adaptation that allows many of the book's smaller moments and supporting characters to breathe more, but was perhaps too devoted to Herbert's work. Heresy, yells the Frank Herbert fan, but we all know that what works in a book might not work in a movie and vice versa. And Villeneuve's biggest misstep with Dune Part 1 is how misshapen and plotting it feels in its second half, as if the movie doesn't quite know how or where to end before it just suddenly does. Timothée Chalamet stars as Paul Atreides and is as dreamy, misunderstood, and tortured as you could want the heartthrob to be here. And that's a compliment. Paul's having prophetic dreams of a mysterious girl, Zendaya's character Chani, who some viewers may be distressed to learn is barely in this movie beyond those dreams. Still, this is Part 1, so be patient. It's Zendaya's voiceover that opens the movie, succinctly summing up the violent history of her home planet Arrakis. The sequence is a triumph over the exposition that continuously threatens to bring any adaptation of Dune down, but unfortunately, the filmmakers don't always succeed on this same front moving forward. Still, Villeneuve frequently impresses with his ability to take tried and true sci-fi concepts and put some new spin on them. His take on the powers of the Bene Gesserit, for example, lead to a moment that's wonderfully off-putting and effective. The script also benefits from injecting occasional bits of humor into the universe-shaping events of the film, and the casting of charismatic actors like Jason Momoa and Josh Brolin help to drive those humanizing elements home.
Hey, you want some muscle?
I do.
No.
In fact, the cast is solid across the board. Among its smattering of famous faces are Rebecca Ferguson and a heavy with responsibility Oscar Isaac as Paul's mother and father, Javier Bardem as the leader of the Fremen, the natives of Arrakis, and Charlotte Rampling as the scary Bene Gesserit Reverend Mother. And then there are the villains. Stellan Skarsgård is effectively grotesque and sinister as Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, the bane of House Atreides, while his nephew, Dave Bautista's Beast Raban, is vicious enough that any memory of Drax will be long gone while watching this film. And Dune is certainly capable of transporting the viewer to its alien landscapes via its...
This video is not as bad as I was thinking it would be. I was expecting Movie Bob.
Just wait.
You think Movie Bob will make a video on it?
Movie Bob is basically covers everything.
Despite the fact that his channel's basically dead.
And his videos are shit.
Yeah.
No, he did
and
make
have
one.
always been shit.
He came out with one. He does have a Dune review.
Oh God!
Should we finish off with that?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah, I want to. I mean, we're almost done with this one.
Well, it can't be any. Well, it can't be any dumber than Game of Thrones is just an edgy version of Shrek. You remember that?
There was actually a tie-in. My last, the last live stream I did on my channel actually had a tie-in with Movie Bob talking about Marais de France and Chrétien de Troyes.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't escape from this. We can't escape from this stuff.
Yeah.
Technical achievements in production design, costumes, photography, sound, visual effects, and more. There is no detail spared in immersing the audience in this fantastical world. Which is to say, there's so much to love in Dune, but it doesn't always come together as a whole. Villeneuve has proven himself to be a master of the kind of smart and stylish sci-fi that a modern Dune adaptation demands, and that certainly shows in the visuals and sound. But there's a shapelessness to the latter part of the movie that drags it down and distracts from its beauty. It's a story that ends at Act 2, and it shows. Just as Duke Leto himself would find out, harnessing the power of Dune is no easy task.
There's something happening to me. There's something awakening in my mind. I can't control it.
Denis Villeneuve's Dune is beautiful to behold, a faithful adaptation of Frank Herbert's novel, or the first half of it, that is. And therein lies the problem that the film faces. For in cutting the story into two parts, Villeneuve has front-loaded Dune with a lot of setup and no obvious way to end things. And so, it lingers and eventually overstays its welcome. This is a technically brilliant, visually amazing movie with a top-notch cast and deep sci-fi concepts. A shame that it feels like a drag in its back half.
7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
For more, check out our reviews of
Scroll down the comment section of this video. Hello. Thanks.
I'm pretty sure this is the same rating that they gave the Crimes of Grindelwald, by the way.
Oh,
whoa! Ouch! Crimes of Grindelwald is a terrible movie.
Yeah, that movie is like a 3.
No, that's a 2. It barely has.
Yeah, it
any
might
structure.
actually be a 2.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm pretty sure they gave that movie a 7 or an 8.
Like, even School of Movies, dumb as they were, hated this movie. Like,
right,
they had a whole
blog.
2-hour rant on this movie. It's really funny.
Which one?
The Crimes of
Grindelwald.
Oh, okay.
It's a stupid Harry Potter prequel.
That part I got.
Yeah, it's preceded by it's fine movie, and then they just like, wow, that was bad. Like,
yeah, the last I haven't paid much attention to Harry Potter, any attention to Harry Potter since I read the 7th book.
That's because Harry Potter is a dead franchise at this point.
Kind of, apparently, yeah.
And also when you reread it, yes, it's very nostalgic, but it does not make a lot of sense.
No, J.K. Rowling's plots are really weak.
The world building is not very good. I mean, it's very vivid and entertaining in that sense. It's good in some things. It's vivid. It's engaging. But
yeah, I think like she made it, and like a big part. It's interesting to kind of like look at Harry Potter. It's just like this is like the highest selling book series, second only to like the Bible and another one of the religious texts. It's like insane how high it's been. Like her net worth is the highest of any author alive today.
Ooh, and she's going full SJW on us.
No, she got canceled.
She's getting canceled, if anything.
She got in trouble for something about trans. So I don't know about SJW unless you think that the whole house elf thing is SJW. I don't know.
Well,
I'm talking everything's SJW these days.
Stuff like Dumbledore was gay, or that there was like a Jewish student in Ravenclaw. Like,
I don't know what would be wrong with having. I don't know what would be wrong with having a Jewish student, but yeah, she decided Dumbledore was gay, and that was kind of yeah.
Or also the fact that she tried to cast a black actress to play Hermione in the Cursed Child play. Despite that, she's clearly described as being white in the book.
Well, I don't think that was the problem. I think the problem with that was that so she cast a black actress to play Hermione in the play. That's fine if she works for the role. But then she also went on record to say that Hermione's skin color is never clearly stated in the books, even though it is.
Yeah, that's my point.
That was the problem.
That's my point.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling's like Twitter retcons are so dumb.
Oh yeah, like that one. She's talking about how they use they had bathrooms.
Jesus Christ, Joe.
So the problem with that isn't identity politicky. It's that she's flatly contradicting what she said in the books. That's the problem.
And
also it's just
also
dumb.
like just putting in retroactive continuity into that just like don't make any sense.
You know, Dumbledore and Grindelwald had an intense sexual relationship.
Oh, lovely.
Okay, I did not need to know this.
Okay, why don't we watch this movie instead of talk about Harry Potter?
I don't really. Harry Potter is just
we already had the story of how this all happened between them. You don't need it to insert that.
Yeah, that's actually accurate. Yeah, like she's like they really hate Turf is like you have Turf. Let me see, Turf.
So trans exclusionary radical feminist.
Okay, that's what the R stood for. I was wondering about the R. I remember the rest of it.
Yeah, but it's kind of just interesting that she's saying like how does being trans kind of like was asking a lot of questions on Twitter like about like kind of how like trans things affect like the nature of being a woman and stuff like that. Speaking about as a woman, and then like just people just tried to cancel her, and they can't cancel J.K. Rowling because she's way too rich, and no matter what they do, she will always have people buying her stuff. And
Yep.
Even though like I like some of Jo Rowling's characters, but her plots and world building are really bad. Badly constructed.
Yeah, some of the world painting is good, but the world building is not good.
Yeah, like the whole ghost thing, the ghost retcons are really stupid.
What ghost retcons exactly?
Basically, like the introduction of ghosts basically means that it has to present the question of why exactly are Harry's parents not there?
Oh, okay. Not everyone becomes a ghost. It's revealed in book 5 that not everyone
Yes,
becomes
they
a
reveal
ghost.
in book 5 that you essentially choose to become a ghost, or whether or not you pass on to something else.
Mm-hmm. And apparently, like, Sirius decided to pass on, but it kind of doesn't. Like, she had to come up with a whole explanation for why he didn't come back.
Which, granted, I don't think is a huge problem, because...
But it's indicative of kind of she didn't put a lot of thought into
Yeah,
some
it
mechanics.
is.
Oh, and there's the whole thing about there are several wizards and witches that have Muggle blood, and yet wizards seem to be painfully ignorant about Muggles.
Yeah,
that's the big problem.
Yeah, they really should not know. They really should not be this oblivious to how the Muggle world works.
They should be saying, like, hey, I found this. Here's this movie. It's called Die Hard. You'll love it.
I can imagine them smuggling videos of Muggle films into Hogwarts now.
This is what the Muggles. This is a Christmas movie to the Muggles.
Yeah, or like even like, well, there's a slight problem. Hogwarts disrupts electronics.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Like, so that's why you can't have like cell phones or there, like,
which is only introduced in book 4.
Yeah.
So, like, I remember like the epilogue.
There are a lot of things that you just need to hand wave, even in the book, with throwaway explanations.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, that is a big thing that sometimes happens. It's similar with a lot of Wheel of Time fans, where they say that Robert Jordan was progressive for his era, but we've moved on from since then.
Holy crap! Can we just watch this video? I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Yeah. Let's get done with this stupid Twitter bullshit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, Twitter and Tumblr.
Now, Denis Villeneuve's Dune, the big-budget blockbuster adaptation of monumentally influential, infamously challenging to adapt.
Oh, I forgot.
We have to do the playback speed. Oh,
yes.
God.
Genre fiction for anyone who watched Fellowship of the Ring and thought this would be a lot better if the pre-title prologue were 2.5 hours long and then the rest of the movie ended when blockbuster.
Wait, I need to refresh. I didn't understand anything he said.
And now, Denis Villeneuve's Dune, the big-budget blockbuster adaptation of monumentally influential, infamously challenging to adapt genre fiction for anyone who watched Fellowship of the Ring and thought this would be a lot better if the pre-title prologue were 2.5 hours long and then the rest of the movie ended when Gandalf takes off after the birthday party like, I think I'd better go look into this whole ring business. Seems important, but it's okay.
What a stupid comparison.
Yeah, like, so it's basically saying, oh, this whole movie's like if the prologue of Fellowship was just 2.5 hours long, you just ended with Gandalf leaving to find out about the ring.
Tolkien is highly offended by this comparison.
Yeah, I mean,
if you want to like do any sort of comparison, it's like the better comparison would be you spend a lot more time in the first half, and then the movie ends when they leave Rivendell. But that's a more accurate comparison, at least.
Yeah, I mean, important stuff still happens in Dune. Like, of course, like the house treaty's falling. I mean, it's like the most important thing that happens in the movie.
Yep.
Yeah, and also it's a pretty big part of Paul's story.
Yeah, like it plays parts.
It's not just backstory setup.
Yeah,
like backstory setup be like, oh, how it'll be if it just whole movie just shows how the humans colonized other planets, or what caused a feud between Atreides and the Harkonnen, and then just ended with Atreides, the House of Atreides landing on, okay, what's that desert planet's name? Arrakis. Like that would be that would be how like Movie Bob's describing it, but he's just being very disingenuous.
Movie Bob disingenuous. Perish the thought.
Well, I haven't watched that much movie, Bob. Like I remember, I
in
watched
other
Anomalies.
news, the sky is blue.
I watched Anomalies response video when the movie claimed that Halo was fascist.
By the way, Rapture and Top Out, good to know that Bob is still the same old Bob.
Yeah.
It's always been this way. From his earliest videos all the way to now.
You know what? I want to put my confused Matthew response on hold. Now I might respond to this instead.
Well, we'll see. Well, maybe we'll do... I don't know whether we'll do the Marvel movies, since that's a long time commitment.
Yeah.
That would be weeks, since there's 20 movies.
25 now, actually.
25?
Actually, maybe we could do like a downsized cut where we don't watch the movies that aren't relevant, like Iron Man 2.
Unfortunately, Iron Man 2 is kind of relevant because it sets up Black Widow.
Yeah, and more of the
That's
Avengers.
true. Okay, maybe Iron Man 3. We can cut out Iron Man 3.
Oh yeah, Iron Man 3, definitely.
And the Incredible Hulk. Well, both Hulk movies.
Both Hulk?
There's only one Hulk movie.
Yeah, there's only one.
No, there's
like I know there's another one that's coming.
There was Edward Norton, and then there was Ang Lee.
That is not part of the MCU.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're talking
anyway,
about 2003.
The Incredible Hulk can be cut out. Iron Man 3 can be cut out. Unfortunately, we cannot cut out Thor 2 because that sets up the Reality Stone.
Yeah. You could probably cut out Black Widow. Definitely.
Black Widow can definitely be cut. Yeah.
Let's just cut out any Phase 4 stuff. Okay, we'll cut out anything.
All of Phase 4. Let's just remove that.
Anyway,
only go up to
Ant-Man and the Wasp, probably.
Anyway.
Well,
let's keep
Ant-Man
going
Wasp
with this.
kind of does.
We'll plan this another time.
Yeah, we'll plan
this
it.
another
Yeah, we'll
time.
look at this another time.
Yeah.
Hey, because then the filmmakers are like, yeah, okay, but aren't you glad we already greenlit, secured, and mostly completed the sequels that are definitely going to happen so that an entire movie of only setup doesn't feel like a gargantuan waste of your time? I'm sorry. We didn't? We didn't. Not at all?
Nope. We didn't.
Not at all.
What?
Well, shit.
What?
It's Dune.
Yeah.
Wow, this shit is obnoxious. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah.
What is this part of the video?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I wasn't sure. I remember this coming up last time too. Bizarre things would happen. I'm like, is that actually part of the video? And yep.
Holy crap, man. Okay, let's keep watching.
This guy truly is an idiot.
Contrary to reputation, Frank Herbert's Dune probably isn't so much too dense or confusing for most to wrap their heads around when it comes to getting its proper adaptations off the ground, so much as a lot of it takes place in the realm of mind, involving narratives affected by dreams and hallucinogenic drug use, and figure prominently in the narrative and indulge quite a lot of heavy-handed allegory to familiar recurring mythological themes, both in the straightforward and subversive sense, all things that tend to be distracting to both readers but not exactly opaque storyline. David Lynch's most famous version also most famously found itself getting a little lost in fixating on the psychedelia. Other versions and attempted versions have gotten weighted down trying to find ways to arc design their way out from under just how hefty the mythic illusions and savior tropes weigh down its more original virtues. So if nothing else, I've got to extend praise, however partly backhanded it may sound, for sincerely surprising me with just how boldly this version of Dune sidesteps these concerns altogether by just choosing not to have them, I guess, so far as is evident on screen. Half the main characters tripping balls and just going on mind journeys to advance the plot.
By the way, can I say something?
Yeah.
It is vaguely frustrating, but also immensely amusing to watch these really old screen caps of men in suits when I know what Movie Bob actually looks like.
Everybody knows how it looks like.
Yeah, it makes these look even more pretentious.
Yeah, he's a gargantuanly obese man.
And also kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, he is creepy. Lindsay Ellis called him out for being creepy.
Yep. He thinks he's
Yeah.
creepy.
But it's kind of just like, dang, Lindsay Ellis, the princess of the woke community, calling out Movie Bob, who's like one of the woke poster boys. It's so funny to me.
Alright.
I love
my
those
God, we
internet
have
blood
to find
sports.
more
They're
minutes.
I love internet blood sports. They're always entertaining.
Okay.
Anyway,
Talk about having dreams. Do a
But
couple.
I do like that he's calling Dune like a white savior story.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
does he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Is a complicated but not exactly opaque storyline. David Lynch's most famous version also most famously found itself getting a little lost in fixating on the psychedelia. Other versions and attempted versions have gotten weighted down, trying to find ways to art design their way out from under just how hefty the mythic illusions and savior tropes weigh down its more original virtues. So if nothing else, I've got to extend praise, however partly backhanded it may sound, for sincerely surprising me just out of focus like every
Savior tropes.
Oh
you
my
did
god.
say savior. Did you say white savior?
At least he
No, he
said
didn't.
savior and not white savior.
Okay, so at least he didn't say white savior. That
I
would've
mean,
been
who cares if he's white?
Yeah. Well, specifically, there's this thing called white savior tropes, which a lot of people don't like Avatar's white savior movie, where basically the like human guy or white guy comes in and saves the natives from being destroyed.
Oh yeah.
Game
Didn't
of
Jake one of the
Thrones.
recent Bourne movies do that?
Did what?
Did he like save a bunch of like never mind. I'm probably
Well,
confused with some other movie.
Well, basically, it's kind of the idea that it is a white guy coming in to save Native American analogs.
Like
Something like Pocahontas.
like Daenerys in Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire. Some people accuse her of being a white savior.
Which is Lincoln a white savior? Because it's basically she's doing the same thing that Lincoln did.
Maybe.
Lincoln was not as opposed to slavery as people often make him out to be.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's
That's also
undoubtedly. Undoubtedly, like Lincoln was doing it mainly to humble the South.
Yeah. Initially, he didn't have much opinion, but as time went on, initially he wasn't like for or against slavery because he just wanted to try to keep the Union together. But when things started like going shit, it was like, okay, I'm supporting the freeing of slaves. Like that was how he was like.
Mm. And
But imagine if the South hadn't seceded. Maybe we'd still have slavery.
No, we wouldn't.
Well, not by now, but probably would have lasted longer.
well, good thing that we won't see Benioff and Weiss's take on what would have happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
every other movie with a not necessarily committing to it vision things does. Too much of the trippy stuff could pull time away that could otherwise be spent with very stern men with strategically unkempt facial hair holding policy meetings in monochromatic settings with saturation sliders cranked way the hell down. And without enough of that, how will people know this is cinema and not just a movie? And while there is to be sure plenty of settings with strategic stuff
Cinema
could
is
pull time
art.
away that could otherwise be spent with very
Cinema is art. I think that's the implied difference. With the capital A.
Yeah, like cinema is often treated as something that is more
artistic,
artistic, yeah,
artsy fartsy,
artistic, or of a higher quality than just a movie.
Like how some people say, "This isn't a movie. This is a film." Like you know, something like that. Like
No, I think it's like this is cinema, or how Marvel movies are not cinema.
Oh yeah.
In the words of Martin Scorsese.
Oh yeah.
Martin Scorsese is an asshole. Essil has only made like 2 to 3 good movies in his career.
Ooh.
I like Wolf of Wall Street. I hate Last Temptation of Christ. I am not interested in any of his other work. or maybe I'll watch King of Comedy, but Taxi Driver by all accounts is meh.
So, I mean,
anyway, let's continue.
Movie buffs complain about
stern men with strategically unkempt facial hair holding policy meetings in monochromatic settings with saturation sliders cranked way the hell down. And without enough of that, how will people know this is cinema and not just a movie? And while there is, to be sure, plenty to praise in the subtler details of costume design and set choices, glimpses in the widest scope of the film's universe, the primary setting of the desert planet Arrakis, its people, its buildings, fauna, etc., are all so recognizably planet the Middle East, its technology, art, aesthetic, ambient sound, vehicles, etc., so unmistakably every post 9/11 war movie, but with space stuff in their design choices. I kept expecting the Activision
but that's all in the book, though.
You know, this.
But that's true of the book. That's true of the book. I mean, if you adapt the book that's about planet Middle East, blah blah blah, then you're going to get planet Middle East, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I mean,
how is
also
what? Since when has military vehicles in the Middle East look like dragonfly thopters?
I don't know.
Well, I was stationed in the Middle East, and we all had dragonfly thopters.
I mean, well, are orthocopters in the movie described like this in the book?
Probably are.
I don't remember.
I mean, I bet they would, considering how faithful.
I think they are supposed to look like this.
So why would we get the idea that it's changed because this is a post 9/11 movie, like a movie released 20 years after it?
We barely
it's
like
the same. The funny thing is, it's the same bullshit that people pull with 300 by Zack Snyder.
Yeah, that's apparently Islamophobic.
Yeah.
I wasn't actually stationed in the Middle East.
Apparently the thopters in the book do look kind of like this. They have a more insect-looking design.
Yeah.
There's a lot more rounded edges.
Rounded
edges. That's weird.
Let's check our handy-dandy glossary.
Yeah. I mean, so how does he get this idea that if they're designed based on some like post 9/11 pretense?
Ornithopter is any aircraft capable of sustained wing-beat flight in the manner of birds.
Let's keep going. Let's back up a little bit.
The Middle East, its technology, art, aesthetic, ambient sound, vehicles, etc. So unmistakably every post 9/11 war movie, but with space stuff in their design choices. I kept expecting the Activision and Treyarch logos to pop up. And you know, this almost refreshing, not even gonna try approach to avoiding these potential roadblocks applies to the rest of it. I almost wouldn't be surprised if the thought process wasn't literally, you know what guys, fuck it, we might as well just steer into the skid. Timothy, put on your literal purple and white space Jesus robes and go become Space Lawrence to the space Arabs in this war for space oil.
I know writers who use subtext and they're all cowards.
For posterity, the main...
Who is that?
I think I know that guy's... I've heard that quote.
All his bush says space junk. Oh no.
That would be Rick Douglas?
Okay.
Dr. Rick Douglas, MD.
So
Don't
he's
know
saying
him.
this movie has some 9/11 like post 9/11 like subtext. Like I don't get what he's saying. I just don't understand what he's saying.
I think that he's just saying that like there's so much like that the people that that they're just saying we don't care if anybody reads into it post 9/11 imagery, like Middle America and the Middle East symbol imagery. We just don't care. Which honestly, you shouldn't. I'm firmly of the opinion it doesn't matter. 9/11 was 20 years ago. We can get over it.
Yeah.
Not to mention, Dune, the book, was like 45. No, I'm sorry.
36 years
36.
before this movie.
36 years before 9/11.
like 9/11 isn't really relevant anymore.
Yeah.
Osama bin Laden is dead. We have mostly pulled out of the Middle East. It doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it does, but not to the extent that people are often making it in proportion to a lot of other stuff that have happened in world history.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a reasonable point.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Plot is sci-fi feudalism political struggle. We're in space. There's a desert planet that's the only source of a mysterious element called the spice that makes interstellar travel possible, but also gets you crazy high, but it's hard to collect and refine because the desert is full of giant monster worms. The wealthy family of bad space royals who've been running the operation just got replaced by a family of nice space royals whose teenage heir apparent is played by Timothée Chalamet and also believed to be a promised space messiah figure by the indigenous people of said planet, mostly because his mom is always space nun for an order that's been strategically trying to breed said messiah for centuries, and she thinks she done pulled it off because he can use the same special shouting magic power he has. Also, the reassigning of the nice space royals to the desert planet is actually a trap to eliminate them as a threat to power by the Emperor, so eventually the young hero is going to be on his own, learning to lead for his time by uniting his imperiled remaining family members with the natives who may worship him, unlocking his true fate and power, which is also kind of savior trope on the basis that we're kind of blaming it on duplicitous women, so 6 of one, half dozen of the other. But
we're blaming it on the guy on top, which is the Emperor. And also the big fat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Bene Gesserit do get some blame too, but hey, they're not exclusively blamed. I don't think.
No, Harkin. They're trying. They at least say, just kill Lita. You can kill Lita, but please preserve Paul and his mother. And Harkonnen's like, they won't be harmed. I'll just leave them in the desert to die.
Yeah.
That's
Which is
nice.
so much better.
I mean, it's actually probably worse because you're dying of a slow, painful death instead of an instantaneous one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Baron is all heart. Sniff, the Baron is so kind, merciful to him. Sorry.
Yeah.
But also kind of not, because he still does it. And eventually, after leaping through what would have been 3 very satisfying natural endings, they land on one that's more of a, okay, and decide to hope the director and the studio patch things up so they can finish this someday.
It's over. A lot of people in the audience look pissed.
So, yeah, a project that everyone said wasn't going to work and at best could mainly hope to be another ambitious, nice try, guys, doesn't really work and is another ambitious, nice try, guys.
Oh my god.
So it's bad because it isn't the whole story. Wow.
So he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Don, have you downloaded the whole True Detective clip that I sent you?
I think that I did.
No, not that one.
I don't think I have that one actually. I just have.
No, it was the pure gibberish one.
Yeah, no, I need to get that one. I do have this one.
Actually, this is stupid.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what the hell is wrong with you? I'm really asking.
But yeah, I'm just gonna quote True Detective for this. I caught zero logic in all that. And that last bit, pure gibberish.
Yeah. It's like, this movie works perfectly well on its own. It's definitely going to get a sequel.
Yeah.
And I think that it will be improved by its sequel.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
if
not
there
really
were no...
improved, just completed.
Go for it,
If there
Balerion.
were no sequel, then we would have a problem.
Well, if
I
there
would
is no
agree with that.
sequel, it would be kind of an unfinished. But and that kind of is more just like if that would be the studio's fault rather than the movie makers. The movie makers did their best with kind of saying we want to tell this story as thoroughly as we can, and we don't want to do what David Lynch did, which is like make a really terribly acted movie that's written with zero flair at all.
Yeah, like I've heard that his take on Dune was like a very like David Lynch type of movie, even though he claimed that it was muddled by studio interference.
Which I'm just like, dang, I would not have wanted to see what it looked like without studio interference.
Which is deeply frustrating in the way that watching a mountain of good intentions, earnest effort, and half-realized potential go partly unrealized always is. So much of the film is devoted to setting things that might get to happen later, not just in terms of concrete plot points, but the idea of how characters might develop, what sights might be seen, or what people are supposed to mean to each other, that it always feels like something else is getting in the way of something else. We meet one character, but we're already supposed to be thinking about another, who it turns out is only going to be theoretically important later on, maybe. When it's allowed to just spreading itself out and letting Villeneuve and his team show off their particular visions of this big collection of sundry characters and concepts that so much of the genre has borrowed from and retooled over the decades, it really does kind of sing. The spacecraft are cool, there's decent action. Yes, as I stated, making everything look so profound doesn't think history or why this world event is a choice, but at least it's consistent approach, and it makes the handful of genuinely otherworldly elements like the sandworms and the grotesque Harkonnen villains really stand out when they need to. The big varied cast is uniformly pulling its own weight. Chalamet especially is impressive and on proper footing, surrounded by literally armies of more established talent, and it's an impressive turn likewise for Zendaya, despite the fact that her role, while omnipresent, is also somehow not in much of the film. Let it also not be said that for however self-serious and dour everything is, Villeneuve is not exactly the filmmaker you want for this kind of material to play out with big faux liturgical grandeur. It mostly needs to not be a parody. There's a grim...
What?
That is one big run-on sentence.
Like, I just have a hard time understanding what he's saying. Like,
he's basically incomprehensible. He's just saying random shit. Like it's stream of consciousness. The video.
Yeah.
Look at this. You can't even find where the sentence began. You can't even find where the sentence began.
Just go to the part where he says, on the other hand.
And it's a sentence that lasts almost a minute and a half.
Oh my god. I can't make this watch video because I can't understand what he's saying. Holy shit.
Again, I caught zero logic in all that. And that last bit, pure gibberish.
What's the like to dislike ratio on this video?
2,000 to 603.
What? People
Yeah. The IGN was way worse.
This is an insane fan base this guy gotta have.
Yeah.
That he has a fan base is insane to me, period.
Yeah.
Other than like School of Movies, which School of Movies are morons. They need to be euthanized.
Don't go to forced sterilization yet.
No, they already have had Spawn. I'm talking about something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are incompatible. No, comprehension and Movie Bob are incompatible.
And remember, guys, this guy gave Mulan a 7 out of 10 just because of the arrow kick.
He also said that Joker was like a 3 or 4 out of 10. But we're not going to cover that video. That video has been covered by most of the internet.
Yeah.
including Eve. And it was very, very gratifying.
Dusty muddiness to everything that feels tactile and physically there. It's so much a part of the literal and figurative atmosphere. Everyone involved is bringing their A games in terms of just selling that this is a real place. I can't say that my mind didn't wander, that I wasn't as enraptured as I probably was supposed to be, but I wasn't exactly bored either, and it doesn't so much have pacing issues so much as, look, sometimes there's no middle ground with these things. Either cut it to the generalities and burn it out as a 20-minute pure mood piece, or make it 5 hours long and accept that your audience is going to need some preparation H. That having been said, there is always a lot to admire in ambition.
You have said nothing.
There's nothing of substance.
At least, like, he's
how is this video? How is this video 7 minutes long?
Oh my god!
How does this guy have a channel that people follow? It's like he says.
How is this guy monetized
nothing.
and not us? How is this guy monetized and not us?
It's like this guy puts a fucking random ramble that doesn't even qualify as a first draft, puts it on 2 times speed, and says, "Yeah, let's hope for the best." And this has given him a YouTube channel with several thousand subscribers. This video had 45,000 views on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 100, and he's got 133 that 133k subs.
Oh god! Is it really as simple as getting in at the right time and being above average for the time?
Is there any
sticking? I think part of it's he's been sticking around for years.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Getting in at the right time. Is it just that? Is it just that this guy got in early and had above average editing for his time? Is that it?
I don't even know about that. I think that he's just stuck around for so long that just by osmosis people have trickled over.
But you would think that people would just get over it.
Yeah, especially since better critics exist than Movie Bob.
Yeah.
Granted, that is not a high bar, but yeah.
That's the lowest bar.
The only person who is kind of worse is the lady who said that Star Wars is sexist because the dark side is analogous to women on their periods or something.
What?
We reviewed that video.
I'm pretty sure that even Just Right is still better than Movie Bob.
Oh yeah, that's because Just Right is only blandly offensive rather than Movie Bob, who is in your face offensive. And Just Right just
actually, who is better, Movie Bob or Maggie?
Oh, that's a good question. I think that Maggie says more offensive things than Movie Bob.
She is more insane than he is.
Yeah. I think that she's way more insane. We need to do another Maggie video at some point. just to kind of establish who's worse.
Yeah, we should do that a stream Movie Bob versus Mackie Mayfish, where we just watch some of their videos back to back.
Hey guys,
then we evaluate at the end which one is worse.
I've been looking at some bad Dune reviews, and there's one guy who says, I don't like making bad reviews. Often don't talk about the movies and books I don't like. Then it's okay. What's finales?
How about this? Once we get to 500 subscribers, we will do Maggie Mayfish versus Movie Bob.
Oh,
and we will do a 12-hour stream if needed to cover as many of their videos as possible.
I don't know. I don't think we need more than like 6.
Okay, we will go for 6 hours. I've already done a 12-hour stream.
Not as many videos as possible. More like 6 videos.
Yeah, let's pick the bad ones. Let's pick some really bad ones. I know, like Maggie May Fish has some 50-minute videos.
Okay, guys, let me. This is what this guy said in the description. I don't mind making bad reviews. I'll just talk about the movies, books I don't like. Dennis, whatever his last name is, Dune is a special exception. I didn't have high hopes going into it, but I didn't expect it to be a terrible mashup of the worst aspect of Zack Snyder and J.J. Abrams. with sound effects pulled directly from Star Wars: Attack of the Clones. Wow.
Who the fuck said this?
It's a small channel, Charlie Dorset. Charlie Dorset. I've been looking up bad Dune takes, and he says that it's an awful movie, and what I just read was in the description of his video.
Zack Snyder and J.J. Abrams. Wow, that's a combination.
Yeah, and sound effects pulled directly from the Star Wars: Attack of the Clones.
Ooh, we have a guest in the back room, and I'm debating whether or not to use the "I'm being creative" clip.
I don't even remember which one that was.
Daddy, would you like some sausage?
Is that the one?
Yeah, it's the one where it's like, well, it's kind of what he says in the beginning. I'm being creative. Now, if you excuse me, I have some work to do. I've already done it today, so I won't do it. So I'll just do this one.
Mark.
Hello.
Hey, aspiring. How are you doing?
I finally arrived. I am doing surprisingly warm right now.
Yeah, we're almost done, really.
Really?
It's kind of hard to talk about a good movie if you're not, since we didn't really go through the plot, since I don't really see the need to do that, and it's been
I honestly don't think there's much to talk about in terms of plot unless there is a problem with the plot, which we didn't really have any.
Yeah. All we're doing is Movie Bob's Dune review.
Movie Bob.
There's another video that claims that the original Dune 1984 movie is better than the recent one.
No.
Go for it. Sorry.
Nothing. You go first, actually.
No, I was just going to say let's continue with the video, but you can go first.
I've seen parts of that. It does not look better from what I can tell.
Let's look at it this way. In the David Lynch movie, the way they try getting around the inner monologue thing is by doing voiceover.
Doing inner monologue in movies adaptations is always a problem, because is it inherently bad to do a voiceover?
I think that one.
I think at some point it becomes too much.
I know that they did one of them. I know that at one point there was a brief voiceover in Return of the King with Theoden, where he's like, "So the doom of our people is to be decided at the Walls of Minas Tirith." I think that's one example of it done.
No, I'm pretty sure he says that out loud.
No, his voice. He doesn't say it. He doesn't say it. His mouth doesn't move. It's oof.
Maybe it's accident and they intended for him to say it, and they had the ADR.
I don't know. We'll watch it quickly after this, but as a palate cleanser. But but thankfully this is not one of Movie Bob's worst videos. It's actually middling.
Yeah, I'll give you my quick I guess it's
Considering
a
how
hot take.
bad it is, that's not saying a lot.
Yeah. Go for it.
My take of the movie. I do not personally like it. But my reasoning, it has almost so little from the book. It's hard for me to separate the two, and I keep thinking, wait, but that's not in there, and it would be so good if it was. So I end up throughout the entire movie being like, this is such a pale, poor copy of something so much better.
Interesting.
Yeah, like my take on this, my conclusion of the movie is just go read the goddamn book. It is so much better. It has so many more layers.
I definitely think there's a lot. I need to read the book. I haven't read beyond the first chapter.
I read some 150 pages, so I haven't really gotten to the substantive part yet.
Okay.
Yeah, just really good book. Read it. That's.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
Definitely. I need to read it. I'm just kind of in the middle of Words of Radiance right now.
You're rereading it?
Yeah. I'm re-listening to it. I just got finished with a Rhythm of War reread, and I just noticed, I'm only partway finished with Words of Radiance, and I was kind of just said, I might as well finish it. And then I saw, and I just like Malazan is kind of a hard to get into. It's just
I will say Dune was a difficult read, as in it kept making me tired, and I had to put it down and go back to it at first. But then once I think you're like a third of the way through the first part, you get really into it. Duke Leto's great. Like in the movie, Duke Leto is just almost nothing in terms of character. You get a little bit of his priorities, but you don't really get a sense of the pure competence and chadness of him. While in the books, he's like, holy shit, this guy's a fucking great ass motherfucker.
Okay.
It's just, mwah.
Yeah. I don't know how you could like fully like adapt Dune as anything other than a TV show.
No, you probably couldn't.
Because I think like they probably had to cut a lot out in order to at least make it like rather focused on Paul, all in his journey, as well as the build up to the Red Wedding moment with the Harkonnen and in Betrayal.
Anyway,
here's
let's just finish up this stupid video.
Even perhaps especially when it's outsized against what may always have been impossible odds. Who knows if Dune was ever meant to work or if enough people were ever going to care if it did, but I'm glad to see the effort mounted, and I honestly do hope they get to take their swing at the rest of it, even if I can't in good conscience go higher than a 6 out of 10.
Well, that was quick.
And we're already done, yay.
Oh, so he gives this a lower rating than Mulan.
Oh my god.
And Rise of Skywalker.
Wow.
So let's face it, movie Bob's ratings don't mean shit.
Like, oh yeah. Hey, Don, I sent you like another video saying Dune is bad. It somehow has more likes and dislikes. Oh my god.
I'll say this: I'll never call Dune bad. I just don't like it.
I mean, yeah, that's
prefer
fine.
the book.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
fine. I mean,
yeah, that's perfectly fine.
You guys know that one GIF of Tony Stark laying around on a sofa with his hand on his face?
No.
That's pretty much what I look like right now.
Where is?
I'll say this about Dune: it has a fucking baller soundtrack. The bagpipes when the Armada attacks, fucking mwah. That is in my playlist.
The Star Wars sequel trilogy didn't need a plan. Wow.
Hey, you don't know if they mean that seriously. It could be. What's the word I'm looking for?
They could have some measure of a point, but probably not.
I was more thinking
Considering who this
something like
is,
sarcastic.
I doubt
Something like sarcastic, where they're saying that's the title, and then they argue that point, but in very, very mock fashion. There's a word with an S that I'm looking for, but I cannot for the life of me get it in my tongue.
Sarcasm?
No, something else.
Where is that freaking review? I guess it's got. I guess Movie Bob. It's not on Movie Bob's thing anymore. Huh.
Hey, how about the video I sent you, Don? It's a different video, not the one I was describing earlier.
Weak storytelling, laborious setup.
Yeah, it's 5 minutes long.
I think we'll have to call it good there. I have something that I need to make a relatively long drive to my grandpa's to get to do a checkup.
Okay.
So,
like I would just pop in and tail end, like, "Hi, I exist."
Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
No worries.
Sorry.
I knew this would happen.
Yeah.
How about like, hey, you guys probably want to just watch on Discord or something?
Maybe
privately.
I know.
Sure.
I know that if you're looking to get anger out of me, we should probably either watch Artemis Fowl or possibly when Wheel of Time comes out. I am probably going to be...
That's just in 10 days for me.
Yeah, I am probably going to be extremely angry at that show.
I'm trying to finish the first book in time. It's still an effort.
Yeah, I'm fine to have you on either team. I got a pretty good amount of book readers and non-book readers, either one.
Is Tarek in any one of them?
No.
Then I'll just go into Becca one. Yeah, I'll go into Becca one.
Becca's in the non-book readers. Maybe
it'll help diversify.
Okay.
Partially virginized book reader.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll be in the Hangout Hall if any of you guys want to watch the video with me.
I do know that I am very excited for Wisp to watch it because if any of you saw the lengthy rant that Wisp went on with
that
the
entire thing is him?
Yeah. The idea will be that when it comes out, I will be watching it 3 times. Once with the book readers, once with the non-book readers, and once with Wisp, so that she can fully unload her full wrath and not have to worry about cutting anybody off.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I am going to be... Go for it.
You first.
No. Go for it.
I was just thinking, Wisp sounds like he would be in a bigger rage than even fucking Tarek when Replica Films is at his worst.
Well, it's a she. Well, Wisp is a she.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's trans, but she's not being trans is a mental illness. I hate being trans.
Yeah.
So she thinks it's mental illness, yet it's still okay.
She's she's fully cognizant, she's studying psychology and all that, and she's no, I'm suffering with massive mental problems because of my gender dysphoria.
Wisp sounds more interesting already.
Yeah. I cannot wait for that glorious day. Yeah, I'm going to be releasing when the first episode comes out. I am going to be, I don't know whether I'll be watching it in a row. I know that probably Fridays, I'm going to have to figure out the first I'm going to be watching the first 3 episodes 3 times. And then the next episodes 3 times as well, since I'm not going to enjoy that.
The day of reckoning nears.
Yeah. I'm going to have to figure out watch times because I want to capitalize on it as quickly as possible. So, and I'll have to do maybe I'll just do book readers Maybe that's what I'll do. Early Saturday afternoon, we'll do non-book readers, and then book readers after that, and then I'll do Monday, and then. But I'll just do a Wisp on Friday morning or something. That's gonna be funny. Alrighty, I think that'll be all for today. We're not doing anything tomorrow. We might do something. Well, might do something Wednesday. I'm not sure. Probably not. I know tomorrow me, Eric, and White are recording the last 3 episodes of Ash vs. Evil Dead for our review on Thursday. I'm not sure of what we're going to be doing next week. I'm probably going to be doing the first Narnia movie. The actually good Narnia movie, not the crappy BBC thing.
Yeah,
So
I might watch it with you.
Alrighty. Well, we will call it good there.
All right.
We will
I'll be on
see you guys.
Discord if any of you want to watch that video with me.
Alrighty. See ya.